So for shortcrust pastry, you need plain flour and then some fat. And the ratio of the two is half fat to flour. So I've got 200 grams of plain flour and 100 grams of fat. Now when it comes to the fat, you can use butter or lard or vegetable shortening or margarine. And generally butter gives the best flavour and lard gives the best texture. So what I'm doing is I'm using half butter and half lard to make up the weight of the fat that I'm using. So I'm going to tip into the bowl my 200 grams of plain flour, and then I've got the 50 grams of butter, 50 grams of lard, and I'm going to use my fingertips to rub this in, which is moving your thumbs over your fingers. So lifting it up, and it's just the fingertips that go in. The secret to pastry making is to keep everything really cool. If it gets too warm, then you develop more gluten in the dough, which will make it tough. So just keeping the fingertips in the mixture rather than your whole hands helps to keep it cooler. So I need to rub this in until the mixture looks like fine breadcrumbs. When that's finely mixed, I need to add some water to it. So I've got some very cold water, and it will probably take about 3 tablespoons, but I'm going to start off by adding just 2 tablespoons, because adding too much water also helps to make the gluten develop. So you want to keep the amount of water to the minimum to bring it together, again to prevent the pastry from becoming too tough. And so it's not getting hot from the heat of my hands, I'm mixing it with a palette knife. But you can just use a rounded blade knife to do this if you don't have a palette knife. So it's starting to come together, but it is going to need a little bit more water. I'm going to add another tablespoon. And something that helps to bring the flavour of the pastry out is to add a pinch of salt to it. So the reason for adding the salt is it adds flavour. And particularly as I tend to use unsalted butter rather than salted butter, it helps with the flavour. Then when it's starting to form a ball, you can use your hand just to bring it all together. Try not to work it too much, because kneading it will develop the gluten. So you don't want that gluten developing in it. So that's my pastry. Now warmth also makes gluten develop, as I said, with the hands. So before I use it, I'm going to chill it. And so it doesn't dry out, I'm going to wrap it in a sheet of cling film and chill that in the fridge for about 10 to 15 minutes.